This conference will now be recorded.
Ted didn't come on yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I did get a hold of him though.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Ted.
There he is.
All right. Still we need to have him on. All right, we're all on. Becky? Becky's not on.
Yeah, she is.
Yes, she is.
She's just muted.
Oh, okay.
He's right next to you, Mark. At least on my screen.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mike. Oh, okay, here we go. All right, I'd like to call the Board of Public Works meeting now. Clerk Kramer, could we have roll call, please?
Alderman Sevenick,
Here.
Alderman Langdon,
Here.
Alderman Schmidt,
Here.
Alderman Tom Grady,
Here.
Alderman Ted Grady,
Here.
Alderman Rapella,
Here.
Alderman Nichols,
Here.
Alderman Taylor.
Here.
Thank you, Clerk Kramer. All right, first on the menu here, we have the minutes to approve from the September 8th, 2020 Board of Public Works meeting. Do I have a motion? Alderman Taylor.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the September 8th, 2020 minute meeting.
Thank
Second.
you. I have a motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman Ted Grady. All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved. All right, first on the discussion / action items, we have the street vacation, Barlow Street. Deputy or Adam, Director Adam. Are you out there?
Actually, this is Sam Schrader.
Sam, yeah.
Yeah, I can take the lead on this. Certainly something with the community development department works closely with the engineer or public works department. So before the Board of Public Works today is a proposed vacation of a portion of right-of-way. So this is Barlow Street between Broad Street and Water Street, so close down by the locks. So we did get a proposed CSM. It's a 4-lot CSM that cleans up several lot lines and properties in this area. In addition to cleaning up some of the individual properties, there was also an existing garage on lot 1 of the existing or the proposed CSM. So that garage extended out into the existing road right-of-way. So what we are proposing is to vacate the 7 feet of that Barlow Street right-of-way as part of this CSM. So the Plan Commission did review this last Tuesday at their regular Plan Commission meeting. They did recommend approval of this CSM and the street vacation with an added condition that along the vacated portions of the Barlow Street, excluding the utility or excluding the portions of the existing garage, shall contain a utility and pedestrian easement. So that was noted in the red and is shown on your screen today. But staff is recommending approval of this proposed street vacation. This does require a Class 3 public hearing notice. So on the next Common Council meeting of October 5th, I believe, there would be a public hearing notice at that time. And it would take into consideration the Plan Commission and Board of Public Works recommendation in addition to the CSM as part of the consent agenda.
All right, thank you, Sam. Are there any questions out there for Director Schrader? Alderman Taylor?
I'm sorry, no, I don't have any.
Nope. Okay. No further. Alderman Nichols? Nope. Okay.
Yes,
Alderman Nichols? Yep.
Yeah.
Alderman Becky? Yep.
Just to clarify, Director Schrader, this is a partial street vacation, not the entire street?
Yes, this is just a partial street vacation. So there has been a portion vacated previously, roughly 20 feet, as noted on the CSM, and this includes an additional 7 feet, and it leaves still a right-of-way of 33 feet. In talking with our city engineers, this would leave adequate space to reconstruct that street in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Taylor,
I'll make a motion to approve vacating a portion of Barlow Street.
thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Schmidt. Any further discussion? Seeing no one, Director Kramer, we have,
Alderman Sevenick,
yes, thank you.
I am going to pass on this vote.
Ooh,
I need to spend a little more time on understanding this, so I'll wait till the council before I give my recommendation.
Alderman Langdon,
I'll say aye, yes.
Alderman Schmidt,
Aye.
Alderman Tom Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Ted Grady,
I'm with Alderman Sevenick. I'm going to pass on this one.
Alderman Rapella,
I'll pass. I'm with Ted and Stan.
Alderman Nichols,
Aye.
Alderman Taylor,
Aye.
Thank you.
Those would be no votes.
motion carries 5-3. Sorry about
My
that.
motion would be then to abstain.
Is it abstained a no vote, Attorney?
No, it's not.
Abstain, when you abstain, then you identify the reason for abstention.
And which I did do. My abstention was based on the fact I feel I don't have enough information to come to a full and complete decision, which I think I can do at the Common Council meeting. So I'm not either opposed or against. I will abstain until I get additional information.
Okay,
And for the next meeting, then can we have an identification of what is missing so that it can be provided to the entire Common Council?
Sure, if you're asking that from me.
Yep.
Yes, please.
yes, please. Yep. Any further?
What are the other people abstaining for?
Alderman Grady, same reason as Alderman Sevenick.
Alderman Rapella, same reasons as Alderman Grady and Sevenick.
Just to
All right.
clarify, were those no votes or they were abstain?
Abstained.
Abstain.
Okay, thank you.
Can someone identify what is missing so that it's known what information should be provided?
Yeah, I can contact Sam's office tomorrow.
Thanks, Dan.
All right. Alderman Taylor, your mic is on,
Okay, I was just,
listening. Okay, so what was the vote then?
Motion carried 5-0. Alderman Sevenick, Ted Grady, and Rapella abstained.
Okay, so we will forward this to council. Thank you. Number 2, We have the stormwater utility fee increase. Director Adam?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, so what we have here for tonight is for discussion, hopefully action would be staff's recommendation for stormwater utility fee increase. If you recall, several weeks ago, we did update our stormwater action plan and did discuss at that point in time the, I guess, the fund, the fact that if we do not do something, and what we're recommending obviously is the rate increase, the fund will be running in a negative balance, or we would have to defer some of our projects. And again, we shared our concerns at that point in time. In doing so, as we are required to, on an annual basis, provide an MS4 report for our permit, which shows the actions that we are taking to remove the phosphorus and the pollutants from the stormwater. So again, what you see there is some excerpts from the workshop that sort of compares the rates of our neighboring communities, and then the spreadsheet was showing if we were to approve the rate increase of 15% upfront and then 10% every 3 years, sort of where we figure this fund will run, or will end up in, say, 2042, 2043, which is what we had showed and shared with the DNR at the time of establishing this. I know I did get a chance to talk to the city of Mena, Director Kaiser over there. At this point in time, he's figuring their rate increase, which will not probably take place until perhaps 21, but more likely 22. He's looking at somewhere between 7.5% and 15% rate increase, and he seemed to be thinking maybe, but it's pure speculation, but he was surprised to see where their rate was in reference to the rest of the valley. So we're recommending, staff is recommending that we increase the rate 114, which is about $1.25 per month for the next 3 years, and then we'll revisit it in 3 years from now.
Thank you, Director Adam. Are there any questions out there? Alderman Taylor.
Thank you, Chairman. Adam, is this a minimum amount, or is this to keep us solvent, or the bare minimum, or how does this play out?
I guess I would look at it as just to remain solvent through 2042, 2043. If you look, there's a rather large planned expenditure for some dredging. But I would say minimum is what we're looking at. And if you guys recall, when we approved this back in like 2015, the revenues that were projected, that was presented, were significantly underfunded versus what was projected at that point in time. That's why I think we need to go with this 15% upfront. And then if we look at the 10% over 3 years, or we did look at potentially doing a small amount each year, but felt that maybe it was best to leave the rate the same and give us an opportunity to do what we did this past year in 3 years, revisit where we're at, what we've accomplished, and where we need to go and how we need to fund those. So I would say this is a minimum one, bare minimum, because if you look at the spreadsheet, you'll see there are certain points in time in the next 25 years where we will be right around, or we will show a deficit balance briefly, but we can sustain through 2042 at this recommended rate increase.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Alderman Sevenix up next.
Thank you, Chair. I'm trying to get to my page. I don't have a problem with the staff's recommendation for a increase of the 199 to 114, which is a 15% increase, which is quite high. But I do not like the second component of this, with additional planned 10% increase every 3 years. The way that reads, it's like an automatic 10% every 3 years. I don't think we should have that power. I think future councils can do that, and therefore if I were to make a recommendation, it would be for the increase, but not to do the 10% every 3 years. And then you're talking into 2040 something, if I recall looking at that spreadsheet. What is it, 2043? Are you kidding me? Am I going to be alive then? I don't know. But anyways.
Alderman Sevnik, this is Corey.
Hi, Corey.
I understand your concern with the like you're saying, the automatic 10%. The previous one that we had, I believe we had a 7.5% increase every 5 years, and it was supposed to take place in 2020. That didn't happen. That's where, again, this kind of these 15% numbers coming in. The other part of this 10%, it's showing the DNR what we have to do in order to achieve and stay solvent in this thing. And I would fully expect to bring this back, in 3 years with numbers at that point saying, okay, 10% is more than enough, or 10% is not enough, so I understand your concern, and if you can word something in addition to that, but I do feel we need to have something there saying this is how we're going to achieve this over the life of this program out to the 2042 or 43,
that's understandable. If you want to do that, that's fine. But as far as our role here, I am not going to make an automatic increase of 10% every 3 years. I don't think that's appropriate. You can show them your plan, what you'd like to do, because that's all they're looking for. They're not looking for an automatic. So
they're looking for an approved plan from the body, from the council, that you're approving that. Now, you could say 15% now with a potential increase of 10% every 3 years, but that we bring this back in 3 years. Put that contingency.
Of that common council.
Yeah. No, I understand where you're coming from.
That. I don't, to the rest of my colleagues, I don't think we should be putting an increase on something like that when maybe none of us will even be around, so I'm okay with, and actually you should be surprised I'm okay with the 15%, because I've been fighting this for a long time, because I have strong opinions about how the stormwater money is spent. So I'm okay with this increase of the 15%, but that with the additional planned 10% increase every 3 years being implemented by those common councils then.
Mark, before you move on to everyone else, could we get a opinion from the attorney? I don't believe that we can set a rate that far out in advance anyhow.
That's what I was saying. I said you can have your plan, but
exactly.
I don't want us to be locked in at a 10% increase every 3 years. That's how this staff's recommendation is being proposed.
So the motion should be for the increase with a review in 3 years or something to that effect.
With a possible 10% increase over.
Well, it doesn't even have to have the possible.
Well,
just
they're showing that you call it the schematic with the, out to 2043. Boy, it is nice to have paper because I'm going back and forth here. So yeah,
That's
here it is.
70% in 20 years.
Yeah. So
Mayor Langdon, do you want me to comment?
Yes, do so, Attorney Captain.
Every common council determines what the rate is. So at any time, the rate can be changed. Even if it is an expected 10% increase every 3 years, I suppose a motion could read to increase the rate now from $99 to $114 with expected 10% increases every 3 years to be determined by the Common Council. And then what that articulates is that, you know, it's, that's what you're expecting it's going to have to be, but you don't know what it's going to be because every common council after this year will be determining if the rate should stay the same, should decrease or increase.
No.
that's what I was saying.
I'm sure we could change the language before before it gets to the Common Council.
Right.
Okay. Well, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion at this time.
Alderman Randy wanted to
Oh, okay, sorry.
have a comment. Yeah.
Go ahead, Randy.
Well, yeah, thank you. I guess I echo those same type of thoughts. One thing, that's over 70% increase over 21 years. I don't agree with that. As far as every 3 years, it should be revisited how much we want to increase. So I don't want that bottom statement like Stan had mentioned. Also, this one can go for Corey. Where does all this money go to? Is it just to build storm retention ponds? Who gets a cut out of all this money?
A lot of it goes towards, stormwater detention ponds, maintenance of stormwater detention ponds. There's street sweeping things that are in there. That's part of our stormwater action plan. There's a number of different things that come into this.
Do any salaries come into this deal?
Yeah, there's salaries in this. Part of my salary is in this, because this is my job. This is what I do.
Right, but don't you get a salary from the city? Isn't this incorporated with your job?
That's how it's budgeted, Randy.
It's a funding mechanism to pay for the required activities to manage and control the stormwater pollution. If you look at the bottom of that spreadsheet that was provided, Alderman Rapala, you'll see the different service accounts that are partially, or that's what some of the stormwater funding is going for. There's a list of like about 8, 10 of them on the bottom of the spreadsheet.
Okay, all right.
So Randy, if I could, Randy, kind of help you out with that, if that's all right, Ms. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead, Stan.
You got city attorney, community development, the comptrollers, informational systems, debt service, forestry, engineering, street construction. I mean, a lot of things, street cleaning, obviously, snow and ice removal, parking lots. So this is almost like a second budget now that is not part of the city's regular budget. It's a fee.
Oh, will we get a cut out of this too?
No.
Well, that's not fair.
That's
we approve this, so my time right now, I should be getting paid for it because we're discussing the stormwater situation.
Well, and there's parking lots, there's a lot of engineering work. I
Yeah.
understand a lot of this. It's supposed to be stormwater related, and I understand that, but basically it's to help to keep the levy down and charge a fee. So then what do? We increase the fee by 15%. You imagine if we had a 15% increase in our taxes? People would
Well,
be,
I'm fine with that. I mean, I understand where this money goes, but it shouldn't go to me because we're discussing this today. It should be all with the stormwater, not going to be paying salaries like ours to get an increase because we're talking about it today.
Now, Randy, this is, pay attention when we do the budgeting. You'll see how this flows.
right.
This is just part of the process.
Yep. It's unfortunate that when this first started, it wasn't set up this way. It was only to build a retention pond and those kind of things. But then, people get clever with accounting and then they say, well, it's related to this. So let's start taking money from the stormwater utility. And I'll tell you what, in many cases, this is actually the stormwater utility fund has actually helped us out quite a bit because there have been times where we might have not had money for something, but we were able to take it out of the stormwater utility fund. So it works both ways, Randy. But
Okay.
I'm okay with the increase. I just, Mr. Chairman, I just don't have confidence about having a 10% increase every 3 years without having some type of statement in there, if approved by the Common Council at that time.
So you would like
So my motion will be that we follow staff's recommendation to increase the stormwater ERU rate from $99 to $114.
Yep.
With plans for additional 10% increases once every 3 years, recommended by the Common Council.
Yep, that's exactly what I got written down. So we have a motion by,
That was my motion.
yep, I have a motion.
Mr. Chairman, can
Yeah.
I tweak your motion, Alderman Sevenik? 15%,
Yes.
15% is not $114. It's $113.85. I'd rather.
Okay, sure.
So
All the better.
I was going to mention something too, but
how much?
I don't jump in
115
on everybody.
They're trying to get some extra pennies from us.
No, I was going to say what I was just wanted to say, and I was hoping to get it in before you did your motion, but I didn't. Every municipality is going through this. The municipality I came from before had stormwater management. There were so many different factors that came into that. You had to look at and split your time, like they were saying. Part of it is salaries, part of it is a lot of different things. I'll honestly even say I don't like coming back and revisiting this every year. I think this should be part of our budget every year to revisit this, not every 3 years, because things can change. And where I came from before, that's how we did it. That was part of our budget. Every single year was stormwater management, and we looked at it rather than every 3 years.
We do look at it every year. It's just that this is just the new increase, that's all.
No, I'm fine with the increase. I'm just saying I don't like even that we're going to come back every 3 years with an additional possible 10% every 3. I would rather us just look at it every year and go year by year after this, because you may find the need that you may need, maybe the 15% isn't enough, and we may need something before the 3 years.
It's a good point.
I would rather come back and visit it every year rather than every 3 years to look at any possible increases.
Their argument was, though, is that they have to present this to.
They do. I'll disagree, and I'll agree and disagree with that. They like to see some type of a projection. I went through this on the board I was on before. We gave them our projection. We said we would look at it every single year. They were fine with that. So that's just where, you know, a lot of mine comes from, because I've been dealing with stormwater management for a long time. And like you said, you got to get creative on some of the things you have to do, because times are changing and there's a lot of these retention ponds, detention ponds, things have to be clean. And there's a lot of different factors that come into stormwater management. So
are you saying then, Alderman Schmidt, that it wouldn't be necessarily a 10% increase? You could say it could be anywhere from, say, 1% to what, 20%?
well, no, I'm just saying, if we look at it every year versus every 3 years, I think you keep a pulse on what's going on a lot better.
I think we do that through our budget, though.
We
Yeah,
do.
you do through the budget, but that's what I'm saying. If you just say we will revisit this every year, that's how we kept the powers that be that cared about this, you know, the DNR, everybody else, about all these stormwater things. If we said we were going to increase here, we know that we'll be okay for, you know, however time, at least 3 years, but we're going to revisit it every year so that we keep a better handle on the pulse of what's going on.
Chair, I think Becky had something.
Yep. I was going to Alderman Becky.
Thank you.
Yep.
I tend to agree with Alderman Schmidt on this one. And one of the questions I had for Director Alex was if you could explain to us why you recommended this scenario at the end of the day over visiting this on an annual basis.
Primarily 2 reasons. One was, I'll be honest, anticipating the feeling of the council, whether you'd want to see that sort of almost like automatically. But I would agree with Alderman Sevenick is that we do look at this stuff on an annual basis when we do our budget. However, oftentimes we sort of run out of time. We run short on actually taking the time, spending the time necessary to sort of review our rates, and not only stormwater rates, all our rates, and not bring them forward. That's kind of why we thought that would give us 3 years, sort of see, because some of these projects, we're planning them, we're working on them, not just in that year leading up to those, and it would give us some time to sort of see where it is at. Staff probably would maybe, like next year, if we did do this on an annual basis, we may not recommend any sort of an increase, short of some unknown or something out of the ordinary, something extraordinary that were to happen. So again, I think Attorney Captain's point is that at any time, I think the council can look at our rates and address the rates, if we were to bring something forward. So again, I think to follow up on Deputy Director Gordon's point is that we're trying to lay out something for now, and to show you that we can afford this over the next, say, 20, 25 years. Not only you, but then perhaps the Department of Natural Resources, should we get audited, or should they inquire or take a closer look at our reporting that we do on an annual basis.
Yes, and I understand the need to submit a plan to the DNR, and I'm in full support of that. You also mentioned in your earlier statements that we missed bringing this forward to the council, and that's one of the reasons why we're looking at a 15% increase this year instead of perhaps something less. And so, for those reasons, I'm a proponent, like Alderman Schmidt, of reviewing this annually. There may not need to be a rate increase annually, but to consistently make sure that we're on track. We could say, we'll look at this from 3 years from now, and then, oops, we miss another year. And so we have catch up to do. So to keep this on an annual basis. In my mind, it also lowers the impact to the ratepayer because it's much easier to sell a 2% or 5% increase than a 15 or 20% increase. And so to keep this in mind, review it on an annual basis, make sure that we're on track. I think it's a benefit to us as a city and to the ratepayers as well.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead, Stan.
Actually, that was a motion of mine several years ago that we do exactly that, and that is already required. That's why, you know, you've heard me call Mark Radke the stormwater utilities are.
Yep.
You know, well, because he controls that budget, he has a lot to say, but he is required to report to the Common Council. Is it, I forget now, is it twice a year or once a year, Adam?
I believe it's annual. Yes.
Okay, so
it was my
he is
understanding
required annually that we go through this, so that was a requirement. And actually, didn't you just do that not so long ago?
Yes and no. As far as the 15%, we made some changes late in the year last year, leading up to the budget. And it was just one of those things that I'll admit I wasn't aware that was, that 2020 was the year. It wasn't until we, that I and Deputy Director Gordon looked at our plan a little bit closer when we realized, we missed it. And then this is something that we wanted to get more involved in, have a little better handle on where we're at with the fund and with our project, and that led to this. I would say, I think the reason that we need 15%, initially I felt as though, yes, that we do need to, go to a double-digit increase, partially because we missed one year, but it really, when you look at it, as I explained during the workshop, we missed out on, almost $2 million worth of revenue that was projected from 2016 to 2020. So therefore, that's, in my opinion, the real reason why we need to do the 15%. But I fully understand what Alderman Nichols is saying. And again, you're right, we should be doing this on an annual basis, probably in greater detail, like we are now. Last year, it just kind of got away from us.
And a lot of that had to do with the transitioning of different department heads. We had Mark retired, then we had Josh, then Josh moved on, and then we hired Adam. So there was a little period in there where maybe some of this didn't happen, but we are required to go through this once a year already.
Becky, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. You are correct, Alderman Sevenik. We do get a report on this annually. However, the report that we get is a report of liabilities, assets, and fund balance. It does not take into account future planning for future projects, or it's a simple accounting of what we have at the moment. So to use that report together with planning, we would be better able to determine together where we are for our rates and whether an increase would be warranted.
I don't disagree with that. That you're absolutely correct. I still think that my motion is in order to help with the reporting of the DNR, and we will review this every year. It's just that, like I said, the transition period kind of got our staff, I don't know what's the right word, wasn't able to come forward with this. So, and also I have to admit, I've made it clear I wasn't interested in any additional increases, and that might have been a little political. They may have felt I'm not going to go down that road if I'm going to have this railroaded. But you know, looking at the other communities, letting some time go by, you know, maybe now is the time to have an increase. But I don't want any automatic increases. I think that's up to future councils and for us to review at least every year.
Becky?
Yes, Chair, when that time comes, could we have the motion repeated?
Yes.
That'd be up to the clerk.
Ted?
Yes,
Yeah, Ted, we need to, Stan, we need to get the exact amount for this on the paper. Ted, you said $115 and how much cents?
no,
13.
113.85 cents for,
113.85
85.
cents.
Yep.
yeah,
Okay, so that, we would have to remake the motion to that dollar amount.
I'll accept that as friendly motion.
Okay, good.
As part
All
of my
right.
motion.
All right, okay, so it's $99 to $113.85. That is
Correct.
the motion.
and there's a second.
And a second by Alderman Ted Grady.
Yep.
Becky, any further discussion? Ann Schmidt.
I have
Alderman
one.
Ann.
Yeah, I do have one question. Like I said, I'm not in oppose of the 15% increase now. Where I have a problem with the motion is the other 10% over the 3 years. So that's I just wanted to make that point clear. I won't be able to support the extra 10% every 3 years, even though it's only in verbiage. I don't like that being put in there. I don't have a problem with the increase from the 99 to the 113.85, but
It's not
Yeah,
in the, it's not in.
he did have it in his
not in-
motion though.
I had it where it would be determined by the future councils.
Correct.
Okay.
You know, let's have the chair recognize people here. We're just throwing this thing around the court here. The chair has to recognize people.
Yeah, so Alderman Ann, you're on. You're on board here.
No, like I said, that was just, I mean, if it's just going to be a for sure that there is no automatic anything for the 3 years, then I guess I'll go along, as long as we're going to look at this on an annual basis, not every 3 years. I would rather look at this, like I said, once a year. And if you need to increase it, like, you know, Becky had stated, just a few percent increase is a lot better than a 10% increase for any family out there. And that's where I just think if we look at it every year, I know from the past, that was all the DNR cared about, was that it was going to be addressed. It was going to be looked at, and you could show where you had the ability to do it, because if we have the ability to change this at any point in time, we have the ability to make the DNR happy as to how we're going to get there. So that's why I just don't, like I said, that's my biggest thing, is I don't like that, you know, additional planned increase of 10% every 3 years, and that we'll look at it every, you know, I would rather just be the increase now and like I said, addressed yearly and be able to adjust accordingly.
Alderman Ted?
Yes, Chairman, could you just have the clerk read back the motion?
Yes, Clerk Kramer, could you read back the motion, please?
To increase the stormwater ERU rate from $99 to $113.85, 15% with plans for additional planned 10% increases once every 3 years as recommended by the Common Council.
And the future Common Councils.
Okay.
And the future Common Council, Clerk. And that's what I have exactly written down on my notes here. Any further discussion?
I have.
Let me write that down. Okay. Let's see. Alderman Randy.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. It's pretty simple. If you just keep the $99 to $113.85, and then instead just change the sentence with additional plan, how about just putting with a potential increase every year, which would be revisited by the council. Potential, just use that type of word rather than additional planned. That's all I'll say. Thank you.
Alderman Ted, or Alderman Stan?
The only reason I'm adding that last part is because of the DNR report that we have to give. So if we take that completely out, we will not be in compliant with our stormwater utility report. That's the only reason. I agree with Ann. I would rather eliminate it completely also. But if Adam or Corey can explain they don't need that last part in there, then I'm okay with that. I was just trying to help out with what they have to provide to the DNR, because we have these reportings that we have to do. There's a number of retention ponds that go out way past, I think, 2040 that we have to have completed. We have to show that we have the funding mechanism to do it. And I think this plan does that. So if Corey or Adam,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, if they could bring that up.
So with this plan, when you look at it, you see the ups and some downs in the table. And what we're saying is by increasing it to 15% now, and the way that the plan stays solvent is to a planned increase of 10% every year. It's not a guaranteed increase, and that might have to change from 10% every 3 years. We also did at the workshop present a plan that showed 15% in 2021 with a planned 3% increase every year. So, what we're trying to do is project out something to 2042 or 2043. And neither one of us have a crystal ball to be able to see that. And we don't, you're projecting costs and inflation and a lot of different things out many years. And the DNR understands that you're not going to hit that right on. But we have to show how we're going to attempt in doing that. We're saying we're going to do this pond and we're projecting the cost of this pond to be this, and we're going to do maintenance on this pond or add this amenity, not amenity per se, but alum treatment to this pond at a certain year, and it's going to cost this, or we're going to have to dredge this pond and things of that nature. And they want us to show that we're on top of this and we're keeping track of this, where it doesn't get out of control. And next thing you know, you can't accomplish what they're telling us we need to accomplish. So I think we're getting hung up that we're saying it needs to be this 10%. It might be 8% in 3 years. It might be 12% in 3 years. It just depends on the future councils, what they might tell us, remove this pond and put this pond in. And that might increase the cost or it might decrease the cost. If you want to review it every year, my recommendation would be the 15% in 2021 with a planned 3% increase every year. Because all that's doing is showing that. And there's certain years, if we don't take advantage of that increase, that 3%, and say, well, we can only get away with 2%, that affects this plan 10 years down the road. So we might all of a sudden show a deficit 10 years down the road. So there is merit in saying, yes, we need to look at this every year. It makes it maybe a little bit easier to remember that, hey, we have to do it. It becomes an automatic thing where, yeah, the 2020 year got away from us. And I'll be honest, I didn't remember until Adam and I started talking about it. When we started looking at the Bryn site underground detention and things of that nature. So, you all bring up valid points, but we have to show the DNR how we're going to achieve this and what ponds and things of that nature that we're seeing we're going to do today. 15 years from now, that plan is going to look totally different. There's going to be some that are in there, and there's going to be different ones that replace some of the other ones. So we just have to show them how we're going to achieve this over that 2042 life of this.
Becky, first, I think Attorney Captain, did you want to have something to say?
Nope, that wasn't me. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Becky?
Thank you. Having listened to the conversation, I would like to offer an amendment to the motion. At the end of Alderman Sevenick's motion, I would like to add, and that the stormwater plan, fund, and rates be reviewed annually.
I'll second.
Okay, stormwater fund and what, Becky?
Plan and rates.
And rates. Okay. All right, so we have a amendment to the motion. Clerk Kramer, did you get that amendment down?
Yes, I did.
Could you just read that back for us, please, quick?
So the amendment was to add and that stormwater plan fund and rates be reviewed annually.
Okay, so we will take we'll take a vote on the amendment first.
Oh, you need a second.
Oh, yep, I need a second.
I did second it.
Yeah.
Becky still has something, Chair.
Oh, sorry, Becky.
I just wanted to say it's stormwater plan, comma, fund, and rates.
Comma.
So that's 3 things.
Comma.
Thank you for the clarification.
Stormwater plan, comma, what, Becky? What was that again, please? Stormwater plan and?
The plan, comma,
Yep.
fund,
Funds.
and rates.
Funds and rates. Clerk, did you got that down?
Yes, I did catch that.
Okay, so could we, Clerk, could you read the amendment back for us, please?
Amendment to add a stormwater plan, fund, and rates be reviewed annually.
All right, so we have an amendment to the motion. Do I have a second?
I seconded it.
Oh, yep, that's right. Alderman seconded it. We were just finishing the verbiage. All right, so we have an amendment. Clerk Kramer, can we have a vote, please?
Alderman Sevenick?
Aye.
Alderman Langdon?
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt?
Aye.
Alderman Tom Grady?
Aye.
Alderman Ted Grady?
Aye.
Alderman Rapella?
Aye.
Alderman Nichols?
Aye.
Alderman Taylor?
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you, Clerk. All right, so we will take that motion and forward it to the council.
Now we have to vote on the motion as amended.
Yes. So Clerk Kramer, take a roll call on the motion as amended.
Alderman Sevenick?
Aye.
Alderman Langdon?
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt?
Aye.
Alderman Tom Grady?
Aye.
Alderman Ted Grady?
Aye.
Alderman Rapella?
Aye.
Alderman Nichols?
Aye.
Alderman Taylor?
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0.
All right, thank you. Boy, that was great conversation. Awesome. All right. So that will be forwarded to the council. Okay, number 3 is a payment to Precision Seal Coating, Inc., contract unit number 2020-03. That's for the crack sealing various locations in the amount of $75,023. That's payment one and final. So that would be Corey, Director. Could you speak
This is
on
our
that, please?
annual crack seal contract throughout the city. I apologize, I don't remember how many streets that we did this year, but this would be the for closing out that contract.
Thank you. I know there's, we had, it was nice to see in my district, we had some streets redone. So, all right, so do I have a motion? Alderman, wait a minute. Randy, you have discussion?
No, Mark, I'm sorry.
Okay, Alderman Taylor, you have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Precision Seal Coating, Inc. as read by the chairman.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Ann Schmidt. Any further discussion? Alderman, Clerk Kramer, roll call, please.
Alderman Sevenick,
Aye.
Alderman Langdon,
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt,
Aye.
Alderman Tom Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Ted Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Repella,
Aye.
Alderman Nichols,
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you, Clerk. All right, that will be forwarded to the council. Thank you. Last one, number 4, is the payment to Northeast Asphalt, Inc., contract unit number 2020-01. That's for the street reconstruction and rehab in the amount of $312,557.30. Payment number 4. Corey?
Progress payment for our street contract, I would anticipate maybe one, maybe two different, two other payments. The work has all been completed to this point. So everything's done.
All right, thank you. Discussion? Randy? Alderman Randy?
No, thank you.
Okay, Alderman Grady? You have discussion? Not yet? No? Ted?
No.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. Let me get back. Okay, Stan?
Thank you. Corey or Adam, a number of these are actually in my district, and there's still a lot of signage lying around, and that I'm surprised a lot of that hasn't been picked up yet, cones and things like that. So hopefully they'll complete that this week.
Yes.
I am sending them an email right now, Alderman Sevenick. The one thing that I forgot to mention, they do have to finish some striping, stop bars, center line striping on 9th Street. So there are a couple minor things yet, but for the most part, they're done.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion, Alderman Taylor.
I'll make a motion as read by the chairman to approve the contract for in the amount for Northeast Asphalt.
Thank you.
Second.
Second. Okay, motion by Alderman Taylor, second by Alderman Ted Grady. Any further discussion? Clerk Kramer, roll call, please.
Alderman Sevenick,
Aye.
Alderman Langdon,
Aye.
Alderman Schmidt,
Aye.
Alderman Tom Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Ted Grady,
Aye.
Alderman Repella,
Aye.
Alderman Nichols,
Aye.
Alderman Taylor.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you, Clerk Kramer. All right, that is all for Board of Public Works. Do I have a motion for adjournment? Alderman Taylor.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Taylor, second by Alderman Ann Schmidt. Those in favor say aye, aye. Okay, we're
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
we're approved. Thank you.
All right. Happy birthday, Ann, and everybody
birthday.
stay safe out
Thank
there.
you. Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.